Hi, I'm Shirley Meisels, Principal Designer of WHouse Inc. and founder of WHouse Inc. Today I want to talk to you about emotion. People don't realize just how emotional a reno or a build can actually be. And there are definitely stages. First, I like to call it the honeymoon stage. The stage where everybody's dreaming. You can do anything you want on paper. The client can ask for the moon, and we get to, as the design team, flex our design muscles and really push the envelope, and it's so much fun. Everybody's super excited and ideas are flying around and there's lots of optimism. The client is energized, motivated, and ready to go. Hopefully, this energy will last throughout the project, but renovations and builds can take a long time, sometimes even years, depending on the size of the project. And there's always ups and downs. There's always hiccups that come up along the way. The mid-project slump. This is the unsexy stuff. And this is when the client's energy can start to dip just a little bit. This is the stage where the dig happens, the concrete gets poured, the steel gets brought in, the framing, the rough-ins, the roof, the insulation. This stage can take a long time. It's sort of not the most fun part of the project for the client, especially when you have to wait for the windows. They take forever. And it's only when the windows come that the house is sealed up, and then the drywall stage begins. This stage is long and tedious. There are tons of site visits, and they can sometimes take hours. It's before HVAC has been installed, so they can be super hot or freezing cold, dusty, dirty. It's just not the part of the project that the client is most excited about. Yet, it's totally necessary. It's hard for them to envision what the finished rooms will look like in this stud phase. It's also the time that we have to check everything that's being roughed in and framed to ensure that what's behind the walls is going to translate later when the walls are finished and the design vision has to be realized. Checking the trades work at this stage is so important. This is a stage where you can make changes before they become bigger problems later on in the finishing stage. So site visits are super important, and clients will often want to join. The more anxious types will actually go by every day. This is also the stage where unforeseen changes can start to arise. Things like structure or HVAC in the way of a design detail. So that might mean a cabinet has to move or an archway has to change. People have a hard time understanding that design can often zig and zag, and that might mean a ceiling has to drop or something has to move. And so it's hard for them to wrap their heads around that new reality. Clients are so invested in every little detail that this is when the honeymoon phase can start to fizzle. Like I said, lots of money is already being laid out as just about every decision's already been made and everything's been ordered. But every day they go to the job site and they're hit with another small change or challenge, and the heat can start to rise. Once all that unsexy business is done, we move into the drywall phase, and the clients can finally start to walk into their space and understand what the house is going to start to look like. And they see the light at the end of the tunnel. Once the drywall's in, it's just like a few more months, right? No biggie. Not so fast. Depending on the scope of the project, the finishing can actually take much longer than you would think, especially with layered luxury finishes. Custom details take time, and that time is necessary for excellent execution. So cabinetry, for example, can take weeks to install. Stone gets installed in phases. Even lighting can take a long time to install, and inevitably there's a piece missing that has to be ordered, and then we have to wait weeks for that to arrive. And the list goes on. By now, the client just wants to get into their home, understandably, but they can start to pressure the team to get a move on, and they'll set unrealistic deadlines. Really, it's the builder who should set the move-in date, not the other way around. But so often there are battles around this very thing. I have an insider tip for you if you happen to be building or renovating a home right now. I would say absolutely wait until the project is 100% finished before you move in. Otherwise, it's just going to be a mess, living through dust and debris, possibly slowing the project down and compromising quality. I know you're excited to get in. I get it. But respect the process. Give people the space to do their very best. Let me tell you how it's going to go. Every time I start a project, the clients will say, "Oh no, we're super chill. We're super calm. We make decisions really quickly. We don't want a million options." Make no mistake. They are freaking out inside, and there's usually a moment where it all bubbles up to the surface. Everybody has a freak out or a meltdown. The degree of the freak out will depend on the client. Some are more naturally calm, while others are more high-strung. I mean, think about it. They're probably feeling really overwhelmed. They've made a million decisions, spent way more money than they thought that they would be, seeing new ideas pop up on their feed and wondering if they've made the right choices along the way, comparing themselves to others and what other people are doing in their homes, possibly fighting with their spouse or their partner, and not really sure what the finished product is even going to look like. Most people will only do this once. I mean, this is their home where they're going to live, love, and hopefully grow old. There's a ton of emotion wrapped up in that. I mean, that's a lot. So not if, but when the shit hits the fan, I keep all of that in mind, and I'm as compassionate as I can be and try to be as supportive as possible to help them through this process and get them to the finish line. Which begs the question, when does this freak out happen? Well, it's been my experience that it usually happens when the hardwood flooring's being installed. It's the first major finish they can see, and they've spent so much money, they made that decision months and months ago, and they don't always remember what it is that they agreed to. So they panic. Is this what we chose? It looks darker than I expected. How come this plank is like this? I noticed a scratch. On and on. They can fixate on this one installation because it's the only finish they're seeing. So every plank is scrutinized and every imperfection is monumental. They can't see past what's in front of them. It's only the first ingredient in a very complicated dish. And they can't understand why this one ingredient isn't the yummiest, tastiest thing they've ever had. By now, though, you as a designer have built up a relationship of trust, and you should be able to calm them down. Want to know what I do? I've seen it happen so many times, and if it's not the floor, it's going to be something else. It comes up. I repeatedly tell my clients throughout the process that things are going to go wrong, and I know you're going to get emotional, and you're going to forget what you've chosen, and don't worry, I'm here. I've got you. It's all documented. We've made amazing choices, and trust me, I don't make mistakes. It's going to be great. At least when you've told them ahead of time and you've had those discussions and you're open about it, they can take a breath and hear your voice in their head and go, all right, maybe this isn't as big a deal as I think it's going to be. I'll even take it one step further. Whatever it is, let's say it is the flooring. I'll have the sample that they signed off on the job site, so they know that what was installed was in fact what they chose. And because we chose it together, it all makes sense in the big picture. This one thing on its own isn't the whole story. Again, you've built up trust with your clients. They have a relationship with you. So I lean on that. You've got to trust me. I've done this a million times. I know it's going to work. I've got a vision. This is in isolation. As things get layered in, everything's going to start to make more and more sense. So don't worry. We've gone through all of the emotions, all of the ups and downs. And now we get to the most thrilling and fulfilling part of this job, the reveal. It's my favorite part. It can happen in stages or all at once, but boy, is it ever exciting. For me, it's all been in my mind's eye the entire time. But even with 3D drawings, sometimes clients can't quite understand the vision. And now that they can see it in real life, they finally caught up. Friends and family come by and everybody's oohing and eyeing. I mean, who doesn't love that? Lots of pats on the back and job well done, and it's so much fun. It's seriously the best feeling ever, knowing that you've had a hand in creating the client's dream home, and that's what makes it all worth it. The long, cold meetings on the job site, the frustrations with delivery times, the client freakouts, all of that emotion that is wrapped up in the entire process is well worth that final moment. So now let's talk takeaways. Some things I want you to remember and to keep in mind. First and foremost, during the interview stage, try and discern whether your communication style aligns with the client's and vice versa. If you're not a good fit, walk away. I get it. It might not be financially possible for you to do that, but then you have to accept your decision and walk into this relationship with your eyes wide open and know what to expect. Preparing yourself for the specific personality type of your client will help you remain calm and in control of the project. Knowing that there are ups and downs and there will be zigs and zags throughout the project is really important, and letting your clients know at the get-go and throughout the project is a really good practice. Now, this is a non-negotiable. You have to protect yourself and the client with documentation. Document everything. Systems are super important. Now, this to me is quite possibly the most important. Building the relationship on the job site is an absolute must. That means with the client and the trades, build team, fostering a positive environment where you truly are a team working towards the finish line in the best interest of the client is paramount to running a smooth project. And finally, knowing and understanding that it's a very emotional process for the client will help you understand them more and have more compassion. But more importantly, it helps you stay more sane and more in control of the project. Even if there's a mistake done. I mean, everybody makes mistakes from time to time. We're all human. Every project is going to have its highs and lows, but knowing how to navigate them is the difference between chaos and success. And that's exactly why I created WHouse Inc., so you've got to check it out. We've got Design Wisdom, which is a course that's designed to help you go through each and every stage of the build. There are DesignBytes, where I basically open up our books at WHouse Inc. and share all of our details, how we set everything up. And there's also one-on-ones. So if you are stuck navigating some of these problems, you can always reach out and I can help you through it all. So stay tuned. Subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time because I'm going to be sharing a lot of content.